Are you ready for the darkest, deepest, scariest rabbit hole that's ever been conjured up in existence, dug by the darkest bunny that's ever existed? Not racist. I don't know why I start off with a scary tone. I saw a tweet the other week that said, we have lost the ability to go down Wikipedia rabbit holes. As a human race, we've lost that ability. And, you know, there was a few that kind of popped up in the comments to that, and they looked interesting. And I thought, hey, why don't I go down a few holes? Rabbit holes. A few rabbit holes. Or warrens. A rabbit warren, I believe, is the same as a hole in the rabbit world. I don't know much about rabbits, but I think that's the same thing as the hole. The hole and the warren are the same thing. I'm getting off track. There are a couple that interested me. One of them, which is what we're looking at today, is a list of incidents at Disneyland resorts. The reason why is because I find Disneyland to be a, fun place, the roller coasters and all that, but also a deeply disturbing place. I don't know, I don't think I'd want to be there at night, Now I want to see if they have the main incident we all know that happened at Disneyland, the tunnels underground where they steal the kids and traffic them. As we know that happened. So let's see if they have that incident, or if Wikipedia has hidden it from us in plain sight. Costume character, Disney Railroad, It's a Small World Jungle Cruise, Mickey's Toontown, Monorail, People Mover. Could be People Mover, let's have a look. 15-year-old boy from Hawthorne, California, named Ricky Lee Yama was killed while jumping between two moving people movers. Damn Wikipedia. Ellen Damask was right. Even though they're clearly hiding something massive from us, i.e. child trafficking in Disneyland, I'm going to look past that, and I'm going to look at some of these incidents today. A Christmas fantasy parade. I can't imagine there could be an incident at a Christmas fantasy parade. The only incident I saw when I was there last year was the incident of joy. There's a lot of joyous incidents happening. On December 15, 2018, a float with Santa Claus on his sleigh partially collapsed. Before I even read on, I'm going to assume that Big Fat Santa fell from a great height and killed a child. That's my guess for the rest of this paragraph, but we'll see. His sleigh partially collapsed during a performance of a Christmas fantasy parade, causing the sleigh's front to fall down quickly. It caused the actor playing Santa to be thrown off the sleigh, leaving him dangling by his safety harness. The actor walked away unassisted with no injuries. Oh, what's the point? No injuries? Santa didn't land on a child? This isn't an incident, this is a great story of survival. I don't see an incident here. I see the big fat man in red living to fight another day. The incident of, wow, that was lucky. That's what the incident is. Costume characters. I have a feeling there could be some sinister costume character incidents in here. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Hopefully it's not too sexual. One incident I could guess is like Goofy and Mickey making out. They were standing behind one of the rides, and one of the kids went, what's going on? Another lot of Disney propaganda, obviously, to get our children to be gay. That's a thing, right? That's what they say. Can't believe woke Disneyland made Goofy and Mickey make out. That's crazy. Like, why would you even want to see that? That's gross. I wouldn't want to see Mickey and Goofy making it. That would be disgusting. Ew. I can't even imagine what that would be like, I'd really have to see a clear picture of it to really imagine it. Because I can't at all. Like, I can't even imagine it right now. I'm trying so hard. Let's continue. In 1976, an unidentified woman sued the Disney Parks Corporation because she claimed that an employee dressed as one of the three little pigs at It's a Small World attraction grabbed her and fondled her breast while shouting, "Mummy, mummy." Oh, sorry, it's not funny, but what? One of the three little pigs? I'm glad those pigs got what they deserved. They say, oh, the wolf. The wolf is the bad guy. No, the three little pigs, they're the bad guys. They're the bad guys, okay? Going around fondling people. The wolf was just doing a duty. He was just doing a service, alright? The pig's going around going, meh. And the wolf saw that and he went, not on my watch. I'm going to blow your house down. I'm going to blow your house down. She claimed to have gained 50 pounds as a result of the incident and sued Disney for $150,000 in damages for assault and battery. False imprisonment. Wait, false imprisonment? Maybe the false imprisonment was like that all three of the little pigs kind of like encircled her and then one of them did it. I don't know. It didn't really specify that bit, but... The plaintiff dropped charges after Disney's lawyers presented her with a photo of the costume, which had only inoperable stub arms, a common feature among the shorter characters that was eliminated in later years. So Disney were like, our smaller characters, they can't fondle, but you know what? Now we're going to give them the right to fondle. Can't believe that was the turning point for the smaller characters. They went, hey, you can fondle now, congrats, you got arms. In 1978, it was alleged that an employee playing Winnie the Pooh slapped a 10-year-old named Debbie Lopez and caused bruising, recurring headaches, and possible brain damage. Holy fuck. Winnie, relax. What'd you do, put a hand in your honey pot? My god. That was not a euphemism. He eats honey out of a honey pot. It's not... The worker testified that the child was tugging at his costume from behind. When he turned around, he accidentally struck the girl in the ear. At one point, the employee entered the courtroom after recess wearing the Pooh costume and responded to questions while on the witness stand, including dancing a jig. I've never been on jury duty, but if that were to happen, I would want to be on the jury. Appearing as Pooh showed the jury that the costume arms were too low to the ground to slap the girl of the victim's height. The jury acquitted the worker after 21 minutes of deliberation. So what he's saying is these bloody occupants are a bunch of liars. They're trying to put our great Disney characters into disrepute. And I say no. I say no. Winnie the Pooh would never slap a child willingly unless you put your hand in his honey pot. Then he would give you a right slap. But I knew Pooh wouldn't do it. I knew he wouldn't. It's a Small World. Yeah, I can imagine there was a few fucking incidents happening in It's a Small World. Mainly probably suicide. Okay, yes, it's a bunch of different languages and they're singing It's a Small World, but there's the same thing over and over again. Stop! But for real, before we even start reading them, I can't imagine what incident could happen. Like, it's a boat going like 5 kilometers an hour. I don't know, is there like little like a belt under it? Maybe you get stuck in? I don't know. On the night of February 28th, 2015, a small fire broke out in a backstage area of the park relatively close to the attraction. The flames were reported around 9:20 p.m. and were said to be caused by a fireworks show that were rescheduled earlier in the evening because of rain. Wow, a little fire broke out backstage at It's a Small World. Ugh. Yeah, give us something good. I don't hear about like someone falling in the water and getting crushed by the boat. I don't wish that on anyone, but if you're going to write an incident report, at least be something like juicy, alright? A little fire? Oh, what, did one of the little dolls get burnt? On November 27, 2009, the ride broke down while a guest with quadriplegia was on the ride. The guest was stuck in the ride's goodbye room. Oh wait, no, not touching that. The final setting of It's a Small World holiday. For 30 to 40 minutes before being evacuated. If he was only paraplegic, I'd imagine he'd use his arms to choke himself to death. Because having been stuck in there for 30 to 40 minutes, did they turn the ride off at least? Could they turn it off so they stopped singing, or were they still singing? If they were still singing, that's a nightmare. As he suffered from medical conditions that were aggravated by the blaring Christmas carols. Oh my god. This poor person. This is worse than like any torture technique that's ever been used in your life. The guest sued Disney for its inadequate evacuation procedure for disabled guests and for not providing proper warnings for those who could not evacuate during a ride stoppage. On March 26, 2013, a jury awarded the man $8,000. Yeah, I think they should have doubled that plus 10, because $8,000 for the mental anguish he would have had to just endure in that ride while they were singing It's a Small World and Christmas carols for 30 to 40 minutes. I don't think a price can be put on that. They should give him $1 million. Just take it out of the budget of whatever fucking new Star Wars reboot you got going on. I reckon that's fair. On November 26, 2023, a 26-year-old man exited a boat, removed several pieces of his clothing, walked over several props and entered the flume. The flume? Like the DJ? Flume? I don't think you're allowed to do that in public. Resulting in a ride stoppage. The man eventually wandered to one of the outside entrances in which he was seen fully nude. Who lets these freaks in? I know you can't stop them, but who lets them in? Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin. Nothing but joy can be felt on that ride. This is blasphemy. On September 22, 2000, a 4-year-old boy named Brandon Zucker fell out of the ride vehicle on Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin and was dragged underneath the car, causing serious internal injuries, cardiac arrest and brain damage. Imagine that, you go on Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin and you end up with brain damage. You go on there feeling joyous. It's going to be a good day. Roger Rabbit is probably talking to you. 2 minutes later, brain damage. Life is cruel. Life is cruel. She's a cruel mistress. On October 7th, 2000, Disneyland changed its emergency policy and began instructing ride operators to call 911 first, instead of the Disney Security Center. If there was a child, or just anyone in general, stuck under a ride, what would you go, yeah, we need our security here? No, what are you doing? Call the ambulance, call everyone. Surely you could go like, yeah, hey, 911, what's up? Yeah, we got a kid stuck under the Roger Rabbit toon spin. Yeah, we need someone here ASAP, and also at the same time going like, hey, we need someone who's good with medical assistance. This kid's about to get fucking smooshed. Records show that more than 5 minutes passed between the time the victim fell out of the ride vehicle and when emergency personnel were contacted. Disney spokesman claimed that the timing of the policy change and the incident were coincidental. Yes, I'm sure they were coincidental. Yeah, it was on the books for a while, we're just waiting to implement it. Wouldn't that be something you implement like straight away? You're like, yeah, we got this like really... It's not like a new ride's coming in or like a new food policy or like a price rise. Wouldn't it just be like, yeah, it's an emergency policy, we got to put it in, you know, starting tomorrow. And of course it wasn't coincidental. You went, oh, we've just nearly killed a child with our emergency policy. Let's update that maybe. That might be a good, you know, let's cover all our bases. An investigation ending in December 2000 concluded that the lap bar had malfunctioned and that the victim was placed in the wrong seat in the ride vehicle. The Permanent Ride Amusement Branch of California's Division of Occupational Safety instructed Disney to install additional safety features on the ride. In January 2002, Disney settled with the victim's family based on the cost of the victim's continuing medical care and suffering. Well, yeah, considering he had brain damage and went into cardiac arrest, yeah, you should. That's the least you should do. Disney was not required to accept blame. It's your ride, in your park, and it malfunctioned. I feel like that's just automatic. Yeah, hey, our fault. We fucked up. The victim never fully recovered from his injuries and died on January 26, 2009, aged 13. You go on to a fun little ride about Roger Rabbit and you die 9 years later. That's just sad, man. All the other ones have been kind of fun. That one was just sad. Alright, I'm going to end on maybe a nicer one. Let's, hopefully this is a better one. I haven't read it yet, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's going to also be depressing, but we'll see. On June 11, 1979, a woman claimed to suffer a back injury when one submarine rear-ended another. She was awarded almost $30,000. Almost $30,000 to get rear-ended by a submarine? Okay. Count me in, I say. Not like that. Hello, how you doing? Interesting. How am I doing? Wouldn't you like to know, pervert? None of your business. Move along. Today we're looking back down the Wikipedia rabbit hole, and down this rabbit hole today we're looking at something I've looked at a lot of, which is Reddit. Which I don't like to say out loud too often because it's, just really demoralising and embarrassing, but I've done it, so I'm just going to press forward. But more specifically what we're looking at is controversial banned Reddits. I thought, hey, I hate Reddit. I wish the whole thing was banned. So let me get some joy today and look at some subreddits that were banned. I think that's a good idea, don't you? I don't care what you think. My channel. First banned subreddit we're going to be looking at is beating women. Oh my god, what a way to start. Couldn't have just, started slow. No, straight into assault. That's good. Well, I'm here. I mean, it's Reddit. What do I expect? It's where all the degenerates go to hang out, so... On June 9, 2014, Reddit closed a subreddit called r/beating women. The community, which featured graphic depictions of violence against women, was banned after its moderators were found to be sharing users' personal information online. So you're telling me that the beating women, they were like, no, that's fine. We can, the graphic, violent depictions of women getting beaten, we're okay with. Sharing personal information, however, that's where we draw the line at Reddit, okay? Okay, that's people's private information you're dealing with. Alright, the beating, the assault, the disgusting acts of violence, we don't... No. That's none of our business. You do what you do, Some people have hobbies like golf, or listening to music, or claymation. You just like sharing graphic photos of women getting beaten. That's none of our business. But sharing personal information? Banned. Get out. These moderators were also collaborating to protect one another from site-wide bans. Of course they were. Of course, why wouldn't they be? After r/beating women... Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but it's such a ridiculous... It sounds like someone made this up for a skit. After r/beatingwomen was banned, the community's founder rebooted the subreddit under the name r/beatingwomen2 in an attempt to circumvent the ban. Wow, smart guy. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. Listen, I'm glad it got banned, but let's jump in his shoes for a second. If you were trying to restart the Beating Women subreddit, would you not try a more incognito name? You know, I feel like r/beatingwomen2 is a little bit on the nose. The people, you know, the moderators at Reddit or whatever they are, okay? The neckbeards at Reddit were like, oh, looks vaguely familiar to something we just banned before called r/beatingwomen. Yeah, not the brightest people, which makes sense. It truly makes sense. In response, Reddit banned his user account. What a dumb cunt. I mean, it's like, oh, I really want my subreddit back. You know, I miss sharing violent images of women to all my good friends. I miss it so much. It was my favorite hobby. I really want it back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to restart the subreddit. What should I name it? This is hard. This is really hard. What should I call it? I know. r/beatingwomen2. That'll circumvent the ban. The next banned subreddit we're looking at is brain cells, which clearly the guy who tried to restart r/beatingwomen did not have, but after r/incels was banned in November 2017, r/braincells took its place as the most popular subreddit for incels. Within 5 months, 16,900 users had joined the sub, which promoted rape and suicide. I'm hoping the suicide was for the people in that community. I hope that's what the promotion of suicide was for. Fingers crossed. It was banned in 2019 for violating Reddit's content policy with respect to bullying and harassment. Bullying and harassment? I don't know if rape falls under bullying and harassment. I'd say it more falls under crime. When the cops arrest someone for rape, they don't go, you're under arrest for bullying and harassment. The chimpire. Oh, that sounds like something I could be into. I like chimps. I like monkeys. I'm a fan. I love the primate. The term chimpire refers to a collection of subreddits that are affiliated with websites that promoted anti-black racism. I'd like to rescind my excitement for the chimpire. I am no longer excited. I thought this was going to be about primates, but then again, why would it be banned? In June 2013, Reddit banned the subreddit r/goodgrief. That's not what the subreddit was called. It was not r/goodgrief. It was something far worse. For engaging in vote manipulation, inciting violence, and disrupting other communities with racist content. You know, I feel like you could have just banned the subreddit based on its name, but I guess, you know, sometimes you need more evidence. Reddit General Manager Eric Martin noted that the sub was given multiple chances to comply with site rules. Users can tell from the amount of warnings we extended to the subreddit as clearly awful as r/nice guys that we go into the decision to ban subreddits with a lot of scrutiny. If you want to call it scrutiny, I suppose we can call it that. Following the ban of the subreddit, another subreddit r/town, oh Jesus Christ, grew to become the most popular chimpire site with over 15,000 members at its peak. Many of the posters on these subreddits were formerly involved with r/goodgrief. Again, it's not r/goodgrief, just letting you know. Yeah, what a bunch of awful people. Reddit should blow up. Darknet markets. In 2015, federal agents requested Reddit employees to turn over personal information of several users active in r/darknet markets. You know, I just wish federal agents would just shut down Reddit in general. That'd be good. What would I do if Reddit was shut down? I don't know, probably just be happy, I suppose. That wasn't the question. What would I do for videos? I don't know, probably just like how-tos or something. The federal investigation focus was illegal sales of drugs, weapons, and stolen financial details. The subreddit was banned March 21, 2018. I'm surprised that's the first subreddit that's had federal agents involved, to be honest. A few that have gone through already, I think, could have probably had them involved. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Jailbait. Ugh. How was a Reddit named Jailbait allowed to even be started? Reddit staff was initially opposed to the addition of obscene material to the site, but they eventually became more lenient when prolific moderators, such as a user named Violent Acorez, proved capable of identifying and removing illegal content at a time when Reddit had insufficient paid staff to do so. Yeah, I'm sure he proved capable in identifying illegal material. Yeah, he's not a freak at all. You have to be a freak to want to be a moderator, surely. Why would you want to be a moderator of anything? The things you have to see. I want to know how enthusiastic this guy was to moderate such a subreddit. That's what I want to know. Going off moderator standards, probably vary. Communities devoted to explicit material saw rising popularity, and in 2008, Best of Reddit user poll, users chose r/jailbait, a sub featuring provocative photos of underage teenagers, as subreddit of the year. We're a sick society. At one point, jailbait was the second most common search term on Reddit. I think everyone in this story should die. That is not hyperbole. Eric Martin, Reddit's general manager, defended r/jailbait. Of course he did. What a freak. Oh, the general manager of Reddit defending something abhorrent. What a surprise. Once again, I would like to reiterate, everyone in this story should die. Arguing that such controversial pages were a consequence of allowing free speech on the site. Free speech isn't criminal. I don't think people know what free speech is. People always argue, it's free speech. When it's a crime, it's not free speech, you fucking idiot. I'm so miffed, you got me stuttering. You got me all worked up. I'm all worked up. Grab you by your, I assume, bald head and just squeeze it tight. r/jailbait came to a wider attention outside Reddit when Anderson Cooper of CNN devoted a segment of his programming to condemning the subreddit and criticising Reddit for hosting it. Initially, this caused a spike in internet traffic to the subreddit. Hey, illness is spread. Illness is everywhere. It's sick place. I don't know why I'm surprised. Why am I surprised? I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I'm not surprised. I'm no longer surprised. Causing the page to peak at 1.73 million views on the day of the report. 1.73 million, that's so many people. That's way too many. Put them down. We should, you know what, we should exchange dogs in shelters for these people and put them into the shelters. And then if no one picks them up in 30 days, they get euthanized. In the wake of these news reports, a Reddit user posted an image of an underage girl to r/jailbait and subsequently claimed to have nude images of her. In response, dozens of Reddit users posted requests for the nude photos to be shared with them via private message. Other Reddit users drew attention to this discussion and Reddit administrators closed r/jailbait forum on October 11, 2011. Critics of the ban, kill yourself, such as r/jailbait's creator, pedophile, charged that Reddit's administrators used the thread as an excuse to close down a controversial subreddit following the negative media coverage it had attracted. Others claimed that members of the Something Awful forum, not r/jailbait regulars, had created the thread in an attempt to get that sub shut down. Following the closure of r/jailbait, the Daily Dot declared the community's creator, Violent Acarez, the most important person on Reddit in 2011. I don't think there is a most important person on Reddit. I think everyone on Reddit is the least important people that have ever been created, but sure. Calling the r/jailbait controversy the first major challenge to the site's voluntary doctrine of absolute free speech. It's not free speech if it's a crime, you fucking idiot. You use your ears? Are they painted on? True femcells, as opposed to the fake ones. Yes, I'm familiar. In January 2021, Reddit banned r/true femcells, a subreddit for female incels, for promoting hate. No, they wouldn't do that. That doesn't sound like them. Not my girls. Critics accused the sub of lookism, racism, transphobia, spreading alt-right conspiracy theories, and using incel terminology. After the ban, the community migrated to a dedicated website, pinkpill.co. Ooh, that's cutesy, the pinkpill.co. Ooh. Watch people die and gore. Very on the nose. That's yeah, okay. Well, I'm assuming that this one's just going to be about people dying and gore. The subreddit r/watchpeopledie featured media depicting real-life human deaths, such as workplace accidents, vehicular manslaughter, gun violence, suicides, and various forms of homicide. Yep, seems to track. After it disseminated links to the video of the 2019 Christchurch mosque shooting, the sub was banned. It's a great tragedy, but it took that for it to be banned, not the countless other videos of people being decapitated and getting hit by cars and shot. No, it was when there was more than one person dying, they were like, this needs to stop. The similar subreddit r/gore was banned at the same time, as was r/WPD talk, a subreddit for discussion on what went on r/peopledie. What, you needed an after show for the fucking videos that you were watching on the subreddit? Really? It's quite intricate, I'll give them that. The sub has previously been quarantined for over half a year, but less than a day after the Christchurch shooting, Reddit banned it completely for violating Reddit's policy against glorifying and encouraging violence. Unlike all the other videos that were on there, this one was the specific one that was glorifying violence. The rest? No. That wasn't glory, that was just, we were just watching, just for fun. We were watching and going, ooh, that's terrible. But then, you know, the big mass shooting, we went, that's glorified. That's glorious. Found the word eventually. Moderators of the subreddit had initially allowed the video to be shared. You know, I don't like to be fair to moderators. I think they deserve unfairness. But to be fair to them, that subreddit already had a lot of violence and death on it. So, you know, what's one more video, I guess? If we're going to play devil's advocate, should have been banned already. It should have been banned before that because, I find people who watch videos like that often to be ill mentally, but, you know, that's just me. good morrow. Doctors be like, I got a patient to save. Doctors be like, I never learned how to handwrite. I never learned how to write with my hands. Doctors be like, I'm gonna put a finger up your ass. Doctors be like, you've got 1 week to live. Doctors be like, I'm gonna give you the starfish. Doctors be like, bend over and cough. I think after a prostate exam you should get a lollipop. I haven't had one yet, so maybe you do get a lollipop afterwards. But if not, it should be a thing. I guess the greatest gift they can give you is saying you don't have cancer. But I think the second biggest gift is the lollipop. I'm not saying doctors be like a lot at the start of this video. Well, it's because I had a thought. How many things in the medical history do we used to use that we look at now and go, were we insane? And how many things in the future will we look at in terms of medical history and go, were we insane? But I was looking for a Wikipedia page about this to continue on my Wikipedia rabbit hole series, but I couldn't quite find the exact one I wanted. It was a lot of separate things, you know. It was like, oh, this thing was insane that we used to do, oh, this thing was insane that we used to do, but they weren't all compiled into one place. So I've found a little different list from CBS News, which, I mean, I assume they're reliable. I don't know. Maybe they aren't. Do I care? Not really, as long as it's fun. About the 15 most bizarre medical treatments ever. Calling them the 15 most bizarre medical treatments ever, that's a big statement, alright? That's a big hit. So I hope they're right. Like, starting off before we even get on the list, this bloke right here, that's Dan Henschel, right? That's got to be him, surely. Starting off strong, we have dead mouse paste. I mean, I don't know what a dead mouse paste could possibly be used for. Who looked at mice, one of the most disease-ridden animals on the planet, and went, yep, I'm going to crush that into a fine paste and put it onto my ailments? That'll help. And we wonder how all these like old-timey diseases came about. Yeah, it's from probably partially our own filth. Maybe not partially, mostly. Who'd put a dead mouse in the mouth? Ancient Egyptians did, with the hope that doing so would ease toothache pain. You know, every once in a while I've had a toothache here and there, and I take a few Panadol, and I go, this shit isn't working. What can I do to fix this? What can I do to ease my pain until I go to the dentist? Oh, that's what I could do. Find the nearest mouse and crush it into a fine paste and put it on my tooth. Listen, it'd still be crazy, but I could understand putting on an outside ailment, you know? Maybe you got a scratch on your knee or something, but putting it inside your mouth? That's another level of insane. Why would you even think of that? In some cases, mashed mouse was blended with other ingredients, and resulting poultice was applied to a painful spot. Egyptians weren't the only ones big on mouse cures. In Elizabethan England, what a surprise, the English being disgusting. One remedy for warts was to cut a mouse in half and apply it to the offending spot. The Elizabethans also ate mice, fried or baked in pies. We laugh at the English, but they actually still eat like that. They love mouse pies. They don't just eat like the planes are still flying over in the 1940s. They eat like when you used to shit in a bucket and throw it out the top window. Mice were also used to treat whooping cough, measles, smallpox, and bedwetting. Eek! Eek indeed, because I have a feeling the mice may have had some contribution to those diseases. Sheep liver diagnosis. I don't know what that could possibly mean. It could probably just mean sheep liver diagnosis, but we'll find out. With no blood tests or x-rays, how did ancient healers diagnose illnesses? Well, I'd assume they'd just be like, where's the sore spot? Oh, it's in your side? I think it might be a kidney or something. That's what I'd assume, but probably wrong. In Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, practitioners made judgments by not inspecting the patient, but by examining the livers of sacrificed sheep. That makes sense. You know, the person who's in pain, we won't look at them, okay? Forget them, alright? They're writhing around. Ooh, I'm sore. Who cares, alright? Let's look at the liver from the sacrificed sheep from last night. That's a great idea. We'll figure it out from there. Why don't you just throw a few pebbles on the ground and see what it made and go, yep, alright, brain cancer. At the time, the liver was thought to be the source of human blood, and hence the source of life itself. Clay models of sheep livers date back as far as 2050 BC. Talk about medicine gone bad. Okay, if this person keeps making puns, they're gonna suffer. Hemoglostectomy, and it's just a guy about to cut his tongue off. What's the best treatment for stuttering? Don't tell me it's cutting off the tongue, because I have a feeling that's, well, I mean, it will get rid of the stuttering, because you'll no longer be able to speak properly, but, you know, don't think that's the best way to do it. Doctors in the 18th and 19th century often cut off half the stutterer's tongue. I wonder if it was like, you know, not quite a medical thing. It was like, I'm sick of this bloody guy stuttering and spluttering, alright? Every time he speaks, he spits on me. Okay, I just want him to stop speaking altogether. Let's cut out his tongue and tell him that this will fix your stuttering. I feel like it might have been done out of spite more than anything. Hemoglostectomy is still used today, but as a treatment for oral cancer. And now it's done under general anaesthesia, which wasn't the case back in the day. And pain was only one problem. The treatment didn't work, and some patients bled to death. fuck, of course they did. Well, yeah, why not? Imagine that's how you die. You bleed to death because someone cut out your tongue because you stuttered too much. I mean, I'd have that problem. I don't have a stutter, but I'd have that problem. The amount of outtakes I have when I'm trying to speak, if they saw some of my raw footage, okay, I'd be screwed. Crocodile dung. Now we're getting somewhere. This is the stuff that I like. Not in terms of like, I like it. I just like hearing about how people use shit for stuff, because obviously that's a bad idea. I don't like crocodile shit. Get out of here. Think condoms are a drag? That first little sentence, I have no idea where this is going. What the hell is crocodile shit and condoms got to do with anything? In ancient Egypt, the contraceptive of choice was crocodile dung. Ugh, imagine putting that on your penis. You're putting shit on your cock. Dried dung was inserted into the vagina. I retract my statement. Sorry, ladies. Either way, it would be going in there, I suppose. But, yeah, I'm sorry for everything. What can I say? The idea being that it would soften as it reached body temperature to form an impenetrable barrier. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that they were trying contraceptives even back then. But at the same time, why in God's earth would you think, yeah, let's put shit into the human body, okay? The only time there should be shit in the human body is if it's your own and if it's ready to come out. That's the only time. I can't imagine the thousands of infections this caused. Like, they'll be like, what is going on in my spot down there? I'm not sure. It's very bizarre. It's very weird. Would it have anything to do with the crocodile dung? Are you crazy? No, that's stopping you from having a child. That is a contraceptive. Okay, well used, well known. You think that's causing the infection? Yeah, alright honey. Other contraceptive pessaries used back in the day included tree sap. I mean, it's better. Lemon halves. Cotton. Okay, we're getting better. Wool. Better. Sea sponges. Elephant dung. Oh my god, why do we go back to the dung thing? The cotton and the wool, I mean, probably didn't work, but better. And then you go, you know what, elephant dung, let's do that. Powder of sympathy. Sounds like some type of potion. Why is it showing me worms in dirt? That cannot be the powder of sympathy that I'm thinking of. 17th century medicine can seem a bit crazy to modern people. A bit crazy, I think, is a bit of a low ball, you know. I think it's a lot crazy. I mean, cutting your tongue out because you stutter, that's insane. Putting elephant dung in your lady purse, terrible. But perhaps nothing seems wackier than Sir Kenelm Digby's powder of sympathy. The powder was intended as a treatment for very specific injury. Rapier wounds. It was made of earthworms, pig brains, iron oxide, bits of mummified corpses. I feel like out of all those things, the rust is the worst thing. You just get an instant tetanus. Maybe it's helping your rapier wounds, but at the same time, you're getting tetanus. Ground into a powder. The powder was applied not to the wound itself, but to the offending weapon. Are you healing the weapon? What? Digby thought that the strange concoction would somehow encourage the wound itself to heal, via a process called sympathetic magic. Snake oil. Finally something that actually works. Snake oil hasn't always been a just euphemism for a quack medical treatment. For centuries, oil from the Chinese water snake was an actual treatment used in traditional Chinese medicine to relieve joint pain. In fact, it's still used today. So what you're saying is the snake oil, it works? Snake oil seems to be brought to America by Chinese labourers who worked on the Transcontinental Railroad. This is backbreaking work, and the labourers are thought to have rubbed the oil on their aching joints. We know today that snakes are a rich source of eicosapentaenoic acid. Did I say that right? I don't care. An omega-3 fatty acid that has anti-inflammatory properties. So you're telling me that it works? Why is this on the crazy medicines thing? This should be not there if that's what you're trying to tell me. If it works for aching joints and stuff, I mean, I feel like it's on the wrong list. It should be on the list of stuff that they figured out early on and went, hey, this works until today. Urine diagnosis, and it's some sick freak sniffing very, very cloudy yellow urine. Look at that freak. He's enjoying it as well, isn't he? In medieval Europe, doctors often diagnosed their patients on the basis of uroscopy. Sounds scientific, but it really amounted to nothing more than having a look at the patient's urine. In fact, holding a flask of urine against the light was as much a symbol of medicine in medieval times as a white coat and a stethoscope are today. Some patients delivered a sample in person, while others simply sent the doc a sample. Doctors would observe the urine, smell, consistency, and even its taste. I know what you are. I know what you are, Dr. Freak. Alright, I know who you are. Yeah, send over a couple of glasses of your urine. We'll have a look at it in the light. Oh, why am I smelling it and tasting it? Oh, trust me, it's purely doctor's orders, you know. That's how I find out if you have an issue or not, is if I taste it and smell it. And if it tastes funny, then, you know, we'll send you away for some more tests. But this is just a preemptive thing, you know. Just, you should be fine, but I just want to just make sure. Crystal meth, and I'm looking at, supposed to be a doctor, but he's definitely a meth head doctor, because there's no doctor that would look like that. Hitler was a hypochondriac. What a start. His doctor injected his buttocks with vitamins, sometimes laced with methamphetamine, aka crystal meth. As one observer remarked, the injections helped keep Hitler fresh, alert, active, and immediately ready for the day. Cheerful, talkative, physically active, and tending to stay awake long hours into the night. Yeah, I wonder what that could have been. It might have been the vitamins, I think. I think the vitamins were the main source of that. I don't think the meth had any real effect on that. It's probably mainly the good vitamins, the hearty vitamins that were in that concoction. Albert considered the Führer's crystal meth addiction one reason for his rigid tactics in the later stages of World War II, when he refused to allow troops to retreat, even under the most dire circumstances. Well, yeah, when you're on crystal meth, most of the time you are insane, you know. I believe a lot of psychosis comes from it, so, you know, already being an insane person, as he was, an insane psychotic, I think that would have just, you know, spurred that on even more. It made him even worse, which, who knew that was possible? Goat testicles. Yum. In the early 1900s, John Brinkley became one of the richest doctors in America, despite having no medical qualifications. He claimed he could cure impotence, infertility, and other sexual problems by surgically implanting goat testicles into a man's scrotum. Well, yeah, you know, human male testicle, goat testicle. Is there a difference? Alright? We're both nutcases who love to hit our heads against each other when we get angry or excited. The surgery had no scientific merit and was extremely dangerous. Many patients died. Yeah, Doc, I have a limp penis. Can you help with that? Yeah, sure, I'll give you a goat testicle. How's that sound? Oh, okay, well, that'll work? Sure it will, you know. We've done many studies and none of my patients have died. Or, you know, not a lot of them anyway, so you'll be fine. Farts in a jar. In the Middle Ages, some doctors believed like cures like. So when confronted by the Black Death, thought to be caused by deadly vapours, they were convinced that a key to fighting the disease was to use a bit of therapeutic stink. Some urged people to keep goats in the home. Others recommended flatulence stored in jars. Each time the deadly pestilence appeared in the neighbourhood, people were to open the jars and take a whiff. Imagine that a deadly disease comes to your neighbourhood. You sniff a fart. A week later you die because it didn't help and you still got the Black Death anyway. What a way to go. What a way to go. Sounds funny now, but the plague was no joke. Sounds funny you do sniffing farts out of a jar, but the plague was no joke, alright? It was no laughing matter. So stop it. Stop laughing. Between 1348 and 1350, it killed 30 to 60% of Europe's population. The stinky jars didn't help. I don't know, maybe it could have been 100% of the population if they didn't have the stinky jars. How do you know it didn't help? Maybe it did. I'm so energetic today. I have so much energy. Can you tell by the cadence of my voice? Rolled up. Why do I have so much energy? Well, it's because I'm about to go down another Wikipedia rabbit hole today looking at scandals and incidents from the Olympics. If you don't know what the Olympics is, welcome to Earth. The Olympics is where a lot of athletes get together and run and jump and skip and throw and swim and dodge for medals. Mainly gold, but if you get silver or bronze, it's not bad either. And that's the gist of the Olympics. If you're an alien, you're welcome. Let's start where it all began, shall we? 1890 Olympics, Athens, Greece. Marathon runner Spiridon Belikis won the bronze medal, but later admitted to covering part of the course by carriage. Was disqualified. No, I get it. I wonder how they found that out. I wonder if someone ratted him out. He won the bronze medal. It's not like he won the gold. I reckon they should have let him keep it. Just for ingenuity's sake. But also, if you're going to use a carriage to cheat, wouldn't you cheat for the gold medal? Or was it like one of those things where he's like, I don't want to be too noticeable, so I'm going to go for the bronze, you know? 1906 Intercalated Games, Athens, Greece. Geez, a few Olympics in Athens, you'd think they invented it. Peter O'Connor, an Irish athlete representing Great Britain, climbed up the Olympic flagpole with an Irish flag in order to protest being considered a British competitor. I mean, to be fair, Irish or not, I think most countries, if they had to be considered a British competitor, would climb up a flagpole with their own flag because, ooh, why would I want to be British? No thanks. 1928 Summer Olympics, Amsterdam, Netherlands. The women's 800 metre race caused controversy after several women reportedly collapsed at the finish line. As a result, races longer than 200 metres were banned from all women events until 1960. Is it the fact that they couldn't run longer than 200 metres, or was it the fact that they were probably wearing like just floor length like dresses to run in? I mean, I haven't seen any photos, but if I were to guess, it would be probably that they were running in some like abhorrent, long, really hot attire. 1932 Summer Olympics, Los Angeles, California. Nine-time Finnish Olympic gold medalist Paavo Nurmi was found to be a professional athlete and banned from running in the games. What? I thought the whole thing of the Olympics was like, oh, you're the best of the best, you're the top of the crop, you're a professional, that's why you're in the games to begin with, because you've qualified. Or was that not a thing till later? They were like, no, we want just average Joes, alright? We want some fat slobs, we want some drunks, okay? We want people who have a limp, alright? We want all these people who you probably wouldn't have as an Olympian in the Olympics, because that makes it more fun. Which, now I'm saying it out loud, there should be that. Where's the just regular Olympics? Where's the regular Olympics of people like you and I, where we see just regular old people who don't really train, they might do some, Sunday league soccer or something, and they do the Olympics once every 4 years. No training whatsoever, and just see what happens. I think that'd kind of be fun. Can we go back to that Olympics? I'm sick of seeing these absolute athletes, beat world records every time. I want to see the average guy, the average girl just go in there, go to town, run 800 meters and not die. That would be fun. I think if someone does a 1.2k run who hasn't trained before and gets to the finish line without dying, gold medal. If anyone's not had that idea yet, which I doubt they have, I'm sure there's been plenty of people who've had that idea. I'll start it. I'll do it. I'll get onto it right now. Actually, I'll call up some people. I know people in high places. I don't, but I'll find some phone numbers. The main orchestrators of the band were the Swedish officials that were the core of the IOC bureaucracy, including IOC President Siegfried Edstrom, who claimed that Nurmi had received too much money for his travel expenses. What is receiving too much money for his travel expenses got to do with him competing in the games? I don't think a few extra bucks going towards the plane flight is really going to change the outcome of a marathon, but despite pleas from all the other entrants of the marathon, he was not allowed to compete in the games. This is what I don't get. If all the other guys are like, just let him run. I mean, why? We don't care. Who cares? Why wouldn't they just go, oh, fine, alright, if no one else is complaining about it, just let him go. I think that would be fair, but my confusion is why, if all of the competitors are like, no, he should be able to compete as well, do they not let him compete? This incident in part led to Finland refusing to participate in the traditional Finland-Sweden Athletics International annual event in 1939. Okay, so it was because he's Finnish. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, sorry, you got too much money for your travel expenses, so we're not going to let you compete. You're a professional athlete, not allowed. We don't like you. Not because you're Finnish, but because you've got a few extra dollars for your plane ticket. That's why. We can't allow it. It's just unfair on the rest. 1936 Summer Olympics, Berlin, Germany. Now, I'm not even going to read any of it yet, but I'm going to take a guess that one of the main controversies was because, who was it? Oh, yeah, that's right, Hitler. He was kicking around then. Nazi Germany and all that. I would say that would probably be one of the main controversies. 1931, the IOC selected the German capital city Berlin to host in the 1936 Summer Olympics. However, following Adolf Hitler's rise to power in 1933, the plans for the Olympic Games became entangled with politics of the Nazi regime. Oh, funny that. Hitler regarded the event as his Olympics and sought to exploit the Games for propaganda purposes, with the aim of showcasing post-First World War Germany. The funny thing is, the thing that people most remember from that is there's a clip of him absolutely gacked out of his mind on methamphetamine, just doing this the whole time, and that's the only thing anyone remembers from that Olympics. 2000 Summer Olympics, Sydney, Australia. In December 2007, American track star Marion Jones was stripped of 5 medals after admitting to anabolic steroid use. My question is, how many times do you hear of athletes getting done for using steroids? When will they learn? When will they learn that every time they get tested and every time it comes up? I know athletes aren't supposed to use their full brain, okay, I get it, alright? You gotta shut off that part of the brain that feels pain. Understandable. But if a coach or whoever comes up and says, hey, you want to take these steroids, they won't show up on the test, don't believe them. Don't believe them. Because it happens every time. It shows up every time. And then, whatever medals you won, you've lost. And then you're banned, and you lose money. It's just not worth it, I don't think. Although I am 100% an advocate of getting a doped up games. That would be fun. Just like having the regular old schmo games. Alright, we should have a doped up games where everyone can just take whatever they want, take, whatever, wherever, and can swim to their heart's content, run to their heart's content on whatever the fuck they're gacked up on that day. I think that'd be a great idea as well. Lance Armstrong. See history of Lance Armstrong doping allegations. See Lance Armstrong doping case on January 17, 2013. I love that there's so much history on Lance Armstrong's doping that there's a whole Wikipedia page on it. It's glorious. If you're going to do doping, do it for a long period of time. See what happens. On January 17, 2013, the International Olympic Committee removed Armstrong's results in the 2000 Olympic Games from its record books and requested the return of his bronze medal from the time trial. I wonder if he was on it back then, but like, if he was on it, you'd think he would have got a gold, like a bronze. You're putting all that shit in your system just for a bronze medal? Just like the guy who rode the fucking horse and cart half of the way just to get a bronze medal. Was that just to keep people off the scent? Or was it like they just were still shit and they couldn't get the gold medal? But I'm thinking maybe he wasn't on it back then. Like, I don't know the 100%, you know, history and lore of Lance Armstrong, but maybe he wasn't on it back then because I feel like when he was on it, he didn't try and hide it at all, and he just, you know, won every race, every Tour de France, every whatever, every time. It's not like he was trying to hide it going, oh, I got a bronze this time, oh, I finished 5th here, oh, I won there though. There wasn't like trying to hide it, so I'm wondering if he just wasn't on it in 2000. Maybe they just, overstripped him. They stripped him down to the bones. Romanian Andrea Raducan became the first gymnast to be stripped of a medal after testing positive of pseudoephedrine. Pseudoephedrine? That seems a bit fucking stupid, don't you think? At the time, a prohibited substance. Raducan, 16, took Nurofen, a common over-the-counter medicine. I took some the other day. Would I be banned from the Olympics? Well, I mean, I probably wouldn't get anywhere close, but if I wasn't in the Olympics, would I be banned if I had a headache and had to take some Nurofen? Huh? Answer that, IOC. That's right, you can't. Or maybe you can. You probably got a rule book somewhere. Chinese gymnast Dongfang Zhao was stripped of a bronze medal in April 2010. Investigations by the sports governing body FIG found she was only 14 at the time of the 2000 Games. So you're going to strip her of a bronze medal because she was just too fucking sick at that age? She was 14 and she got a bronze medal. And you're like, no, you've actually got to be 16. That just seems crazy to me. Just because like a 14-year-old's better than like adults. I reckon she should have kept the bronze. She should have kept the medal. I stand with Dongfang Zhao. Alright, well that was just a little look-see into the Summer Olympics and some of their scandals. Most of it was doping that I scrolled through and just skipped because I feel like if I just keep saying doping every time I'm going to lose my mind. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. If you want me to do the Winter Olympics, let me know. Or don't. I'm not too bothered, to be honest. And if you want to do steroids, don't go into the Olympics. Alright, that's a little something I picked up today. So take that with you from today's video.
I love Shifty Drongo. Shifty Drongo.